Okay, so this is very weird to just be sitting here in my like room by myself, just talking. It feels very strange, but I just thought I would take this time when the weather is literally absolutely disgusting, just to like sit down and finally give kind of like a comprehensive overview of like how I came to be living in Paris right now, and just what that was like for me as an American to come here. I'm gonna do more in-depth videos about like more kind of like the difference between the program I'm in now, which is teaching English through TAPIF, and then what it was like kind of au pairing. So I'm also gonna do a comparison video or a post or something. So this is just gonna be kind of like my overview of the process and just kind of how I got to be where I am today. I hope it's like somewhat interesting. I don't know. I feel like sometimes people are curious, and if you happen to be at home right now and you're an American, like maybe you're about to graduate college and you're kind of wondering like, oh, you know, should I do it? What's the, you know, things like that. Hopefully I can be of some assistance. Okay, so let's commence. Okay, so basically it started out when in college I minored in French, and as my senior year of college was going on, so I graduated in 2017. So basically in kind of like January, I started thinking about what I was going to do after I graduate. I studied journalism, so I thought I would maybe do something with that, maybe try to work in like some sort of communications and fashion, I don't know. But I definitely felt the urge to go like travel. I definitely felt that like quite a bit. I already said it. I felt the urge to go travel, but I definitely knew that I wasn't gonna have enough money to just, like go travel by myself and not have a job and spend like thousands of dollars, going around. So I started thinking of like, what are my options, you know, like how can I travel, you know, and also kind of have like a job. And so I definitely thought about doing the Peace Corps. I actually read up on some information about it, and I think it's an amazing opportunity, and I just admire everyone who does it like so much. And so then I knew a girl, she was like in my sister's grade in high school. She was an au pair in Spain. So I messaged, and I knew she was living in Spain, but I didn't know exactly what she was doing. So I messaged her and I said, hey, I'm just curious about what you're doing in Spain. Like, how did you get a job there? Like, what are you doing? And she told me about the website Au Pair World and how she got a job, and she loved it so much, and it was like an amazing experience for her. So I kind of just, like, from there, I was like, okay, I'll just go with it. So I just made a profile on Au Pair World, and I definitely thought I would go to France because I studied French, and I thought it would be a great way to keep studying French, and also nice to kind of know something about the language. And so I went to Au Pair World. I keep repeating myself. I should have made notes, but I didn't, so here we go. So I made a profile on Au Pair World and just started kind of like Skyping with families, interviewing with them. And so at this point, I feel like the ball started rolling, and I just kind of went with it. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna see this through. And I remember even texting my best friend and saying, you know, what if I went to Paris and became an au pair for a year? Like, kind of not actually thinking I would do it, but at the same time, you know, so text my friend, I was like, what if I become an au pair, blah, blah, blah. Started interviewing with families. Crazy, like Skyping with them, and finally I found a family that I interviewed them. They wanted me, I wanted them, it was all great. And the family that I found, they lived a little bit outside of Paris, and so that was a little different. And like I said, like, I will get into more of like the specifics of being an au pair in another video, but this is just kind of like the overview of where I am now. So first of all, telling my family that I was going to be an au pair and like move to France. I had never been to Europe before. I had only been on like a high school senior spring break to Jamaica, like so fun. no one in my family had, like in my like immediate family had ever really been to Europe. No one in my extended family really had ever been to, like not a lot had traveled and been to Europe. And I just think it's really hard to kind of break away from that mold of like, okay, I'm going to graduate from university and then I'm going to go work. I think in the United States we value, not that we value, but that's just like the plan. You go to high school, you go to college, and you go to work. You don't really, the idea and the concept of like taking a year to go travel or do something for yourself or experience another culture, that's not really something that a lot of people do. So I think it's really hard because you don't want people, like for me, I definitely think I care a lot about what people think. And so I just don't want people to perceive me as not being a hard worker, or I'm just like lost and I don't know what to do, and I just like, oh, I'm just gonna go do this because I'm like a slacker, or which is also a really, I mean, that's also like the American mentality of like, oh, if you go travel for a year, you are like just putting off. I heard from a lot of people like phrases like, oh, you're just kicking the ball down the road, like you're putting off the real world, you know, things like that. So basically I had a really hard time, like, especially telling my parents, because they like obviously paid for my college, and so I never wanted to feel like I was like letting them down, or like I was like, you know what I'm saying, I just never wanted to feel like I was letting them down or not like living up to my potential or anything like that. And so basically my parents had to like force it out of me. They were like, so are you, like, what's the deal, are you gonna move to France? Because my sister, I like talked to my sister about it and she told them. So I went the summer of 2017 in the end of August. So you go to au pair at the end of August, and it's so crazy. Like, I literally went to the airport and my host dad like picked me up from the airport, and I had no feelings in my head of like, I had when I packed, I had no conception in my head that, oh, maybe it's not gonna work out, like how will I make friends, you know, will it be fun? Like, I had no feelings of, oh, this won't be good. Like, I don't know, I just had no fear. I just felt like it was, I don't know, I just felt like it was right, like it was something good to do. So basically went, became an au pair, had on like a really wonderful experience. I mean, I met some of the most amazing people. You're just constantly surrounded with people from different cultures from around the world, which is amazing. You know, like it's probably one of my best friends in the entire world now, Julia. Shout out Julia. She lived literally across the street from me. Like, I met her on the first day. She lived across the street, and she made my experience so amazing, along with all my other friends, you know, whatever. So did the au pair thing, got to travel. It's literally such an amazing opportunity. It's definitely very hard. Like, like I said, I'll get into it more in another video, but it definitely is it's hard. Like, it's hard to live in someone else's home, things like that. But ultimately, I had an amazing experience. So then in March, so it's March now, and I go on a date with this guy named Khalil. And I was really never looking for something like serious, you know, you never wanted anything to be, I don't know, it's like, I was like in Paris, like, woo, bleh, like, you know, we're gonna have like a fun year, and so I was just like not looking for anything serious. But then I met Khalil on our first date, and obviously we met on our first date. We met at a Starbucks, and basically ever since we met, like, we were inseparable. We spent so much time together. So we met on March 24th, specific day, and after that, I mean, we saw each other like as much as possible, all the time. I was with him all the time, and like we like fell in love. And we like went to he's from Marrakesh, so like we like went to Marrakesh together, had an amazing time. We went to Rome together. I mean, we just like had the most amazing time together, like, and we fell in love. And so then it went in August. So in August, it's time for me to go back to the United States, and like I definitely felt the sense that like it wasn't over, you know, like I said, but he took me to the airport. I was saying goodbye. but I definitely felt like in my heart, like, we're gonna try to make it work. And let me tell you, it would have been, like, it would be so much easier to just, like, it would be easy. Okay, no, it would be easy because, like, I loved him so much and, like, I would miss him, but, like, I think our lives would be easier if we just, like, decided to say goodbye, but it just goes to show, like, how strongly we felt about each other that we said, like, no, we're gonna make this work. So I went back to the United States, and I moved back home, moved in with my parents in Tulsa, which, honestly, though, it was nice to spend a lot of time at home because I hadn't really spent as much time at home. Like, it had been a long time, and it was really nice to just feel, it was really nice to spend time with my family, especially even, like, my cousins, my extended family, and that is something that I think also makes me feel, sometimes I feel, like, guilty, or I feel bad because I feel like I never want to make people feel like I don't want to be around them and that I don't want to be near them, but it's like you kind of have, at some point in your life, you have to go your own way and have your own experiences and, you know, try to make it work with someone you love. And I don't know, I literally am, like, getting emotional talking about it, but I don't know, you can tell I feel a lot, like, of, like, strong emotions about, and okay, we'll get to that part of the story. So I go home for a year. I, like, am doing some freelance writing. I started working at a wealth management office, and I literally hated it so much. Like, I hated it, and it was just, like, not what I wanted to be doing. I just felt so, like, stupid and demeaned because I had no idea what I was doing, and it's nothing against, like, the person I worked for or anything. It's just, like, I don't know, I just was sitting in an office, like, by myself doing menial tasks that meant nothing to me. Like, basically, like, I mean, it's wealth management, so, like, helping rich people get richer. And I was like, okay. Not that, okay, anyways, nothing against rich people. But so, yeah, so I worked at a wealth management office, quit, and during this whole thing, I was, like, staying in a long-distance relationship with Khalil. Long distance is literally so hard. Like, it's so much work. You have to try. Like, you have to put all your effort into it. Like, we, like, wrote each other letters. We tried to FaceTime every single day. Which, I mean, at some point, it kind of gets to a part of, like, I don't need to FaceTime you every single day, you know? Like, it's, like, you start to kind of feel like, oh, maybe we can miss a FaceTime. Maybe we can, you know, but then that's how you get disconnected, I think. So we kept doing long distance, and I visited him twice during the year. So that also brings me up to the point of, so Khalil is from Morocco, and he applied to come visit. He applied for a tourist visa twice. He got denied both times. And I think, I mean, now I know what I know. I think the mistake he made was that he said that he was visiting his girlfriend, which, I mean, maybe I'll make another video about this, like what not to do if you're from a country that apparently the United States doesn't want anyone in their country from there, which I think is so messed up, and it has been so enlightening just to see kind of like what people go through, like just because of where they're born. I mean, the fact that he can't even visit the United States because he wants to, and they said he was a flight risk, like he would try to come to the United States and stay, but he pays tuition in France, like he has a life here. I don't know, I digress. If I wanted, I mean, I could talk about that for a long time. So anyway, so I visited him twice, and that is like, I mean, to go like take trips to Europe, to take a trip to Paris, like that is so expensive because it's like I'm coming here and, you know, we're like going out, we're eating, you know, it's like a story I've told so many times also, but when I visited him in November, we went to Milan and I got a kidney infection, and maybe I'll do like a story time about that. We'll save it. So even though I've told that story so many times, but I think it's like kind of funny. So anyway, so time goes on and I was like trying to think about how I could come back. I started working at anthropology, which I actually like, I loved working at anthropology so much. Like I loved all the girls and I loved being in that environment of like, kind of just like playing with clothes and talking to people and just like being up and about, and every day is new. I just like, I really like, I loved it, and I've worked there before and like at Urban Outfitters. Anyways, back to the point. So we're trying to figure out like what to do, because you can't keep doing long distance like with no end in sight. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't, it's not possible. It's really hard, and it can be really hard, like, emotionally, because you can feel super, like, helpless, and you can feel like, you just feel like there's no end in sight, and you're like, why are we doing this when we live so far away? And it definitely can be like a dark thing, and it can feel like kind of lonely, because you kind of feel like, especially in my situation, sometimes I just felt really alone, because I felt like no one understood, you know, like, what I was going through, and like why I wanted to, like, go back to France and be with someone. And or just like, people are like, why would you want to do long distance like that? But it's like, I don't need to explain my feelings. So time goes on, and in January I decided to apply to the TAPIF program, and I'll go into more specifics about the application process once again in another video. But so I decided to apply to TAPIF, you know, which is the teaching assistant program in France. So I apply to that, and I use Khalil's address to, like, say I already have some place to live. So I get placed in, maybe I won't say, I get placed in an academy. Academy is like the region where Khalil lives. Like, my schools are so close. So I was like, okay, it's like, it's a great situation. Like, I don't feel any type of way about going back another year and, like, teaching English, you know, like, I sometimes I start to get, so, okay, let me stay on track. So I get into the program, and from then, like, it was just like emotional torment. Because on the one hand, I felt like I wanted to come back and be with Khalil and try to make this work. I felt like I would regret it always if I didn't pursue this, like, if I didn't follow through, you know, like, I feel like I would always have that thing in my mind of, like, what if I went back? What if I tried to make it work with him? And to me, okay, so I had that on one hand. On the other hand, I had, like, that feeling of, like, okay, like, because I am an ambitious person, like, I do want to have a successful life, and I do want, you know, certain things, and I do consider myself, like, a hard worker. And so from that, like, what was driving me, I feel like also just, like, expectations from everyone, was, like, I want to, like, get a job, and, like, that feeling of wanting to, like, get a job and start your career and, like, make good money or whatever. But ultimately I just felt like that wasn't as important to me as, like, this was. And even just the possibility of, okay, if we go back to France, like, I can still travel a little bit more while I'm young, you know, because on teachers you get, like, amazing breaks. You get like 2 weeks basically every 6 weeks. Like, it's crazy. And it's nice because you know when your breaks will be, and Khalil's a student as well, so he knows when his breaks will be. So basically from then, it was just, like, trying to tell people that I wanted to go back. And I think it was really hard because, like, basically everyone I told, like, the people closest to me were like, I just don't think that's what you should do. Like, I think that you should move on from this and find someone new, or, you know, there's so many fish in the sea. It's just, like, people were like, you shouldn't do it. Like, someone was like, someone told me, like, well, didn't you kind of already do, like, the living abroad thing? And I think that's really hard when, like, you want to do something and you feel passionately about it and you feel like it's a good decision for you. And also on top of that, like, you feel that you'll be able to support yourself. And I felt like I can support myself and that I can, like, live a good life here and I won't be living in squalor. Because that was another thing, was my parents definitely had to help me out when I was an au pair financially. Like, as an au pair, I made 80 euros a week. So they definitely had to help me out a little bit more than I wanted to, but I just knew that, like, if I wanted to do this, like, I needed to do it all myself with all my own money and be financially independent. And because, it's also not fair to put that on your parents when you're literally, I just turned 25. So anyways, and I know that's a lot of I know that's a lot of the worry that people had for me, was just, they're like, well, you're not going to be making any money. You're not going to be making a lot of money. And I know that. I don't make a lot of money. I'm an English teacher. I'm an English teacher and I nanny. I don't make a lot of money, but I feel like I still live a good life. Like I live like a really good life here. I mean, I live a simple life, you know. I'm not like balling out in Paris. I don't go to like Paris's hottest club every night. And I'm not like buying clothes all the time, like shopping and like eating out, but like I'm like really enjoying the city. I love Paris so much and it has so much to offer for me. And I don't know, I just think, but anyway, so going back to the point of the story. So this is I'm going back and forth in the story. I'm not taking it like straight. So telling my like parents that I was going back, I felt so much like I mean, just like the only way to say it is just like emotional turmoil. Like I just felt so the kind of the same way I felt as an au pair, but like different, like more. Like I felt like, am I not like I paid all this money for like a university degree, but I'm not even using it. And I know a lot of people don't use their university degree, but I just felt like some type of way about it. I felt really, I don't know, it like, I just felt so bad because I also feel the same sense and the same feeling of like, I never want to hurt anyone. Like I never want to make people sad. And I know that like me being here and like, I know that being here can make it like, it's hard for my parents for me to be so far away. And I literally get emotional talking about it because it makes me feel like so bad. And you're just like, I don't know, it's really hard to tell someone that you're going to be moving away for something and they're not going to be like 100% supportive. So yeah, so I told them and they were like kind of upset, but then of course, you know, like they got over it and they're like, you know, you need to do what's best for you. Like I understand, like with you and Julio, like you need to make a plan, you need to try to make it work. And obviously he's not going to be able to like come to the US because he's still in school. He's a student. I can't remember if I already said that. Am I doing a horrible job of telling this story? I don't know. I hope you're getting the gist of it. I'm literally like getting emotional like when I'm telling this. Okay. Let me just get more comfortable. Okay, so where are we? So I told my family, and I just like was emotionally just like wrecked about it, but also like excited. I was excited for this like new chapter and a new opportunity and a new kind of like adventure. I definitely think I'm someone who's like, I'm always kind of like itching for like that new challenge. Like I want to try something new. I want to do something new. I want to go somewhere new. Like I hate feeling stagnant, and I don't like feeling like I'm too comfortable. I don't know. Does that make sense? I don't know. So anyways, so I told my parents, packed my bags, got my visa, came here, started teaching. I teach in two schools. I teach in two like college, which is like middle school. And I've honestly really been enjoying it so far. Like I said, to supplement my income, I nanny, this is not a ladylike way to sit. So I nanny to make extra money, because you need to do that when you're an English teacher here, part-time, and just like really been enjoying myself. It's been great to be back with Khalil, to like be under the same roof and just to kind of like see where we are. Like, do we still love each other? Yeah, we do. Was it weird to see each other like after we hadn't seen each other in like 7 months, like when I saw him at the airport? So like, was that weird? Yes. But like, I don't know, if you're like watching this and you're kind of feeling like I felt, like, is it okay to take that leap? What about my job? What about my career? What about money? What about this? What about that? And I like, of course, want to advocate for everyone, like, take care of yourself, be financially responsible, which sometimes I'm not the best at. I totally understand that. Like, we're all learning, but I just feel like if you feel like me and you want to take a leap and go like teach English somewhere, it doesn't even have to be France. Like, it could be in Southeast Asia. It could be you want to go teach in another part in the country. You want to take a job in another part of the country. You want to travel, you want to take the trip of your dreams. Like, just like, I would say just worry about yourself and what's going to make you happy, because at the end of the day, like, I know it's really hard to feel like maybe you're letting other people down and you, like, aren't living up to your potential or whatever, but the only person who knows your potential is you. And the only person that knows, like, what's in your heart and knows what's going to make you happy and what's going to make you, like, feel alive and feel settled and just feel like you yourself are pointing in the right direction for the best reasons, like, you're the only one who can know that. So, you know, just, like, take the leap, you know? And yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up because it's already, like, way too long, but I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope I covered everything. I'm sorry I literally got randomly emotional. If you want to see more content, if you want to see, like, if you have any tips, any things that you want to see, anything you're curious about living in Paris, about teaching, about the day-to-day life, about what kind of coffee I drink, please just, like, like, subscribe, comment, and let me know. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!